is up, everybody?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
So, this is our first episode of Sketchat, Season 2.
Oh my God! After the cliffhanger of last season,
Will he live? Will he die? Was it his baby? Is he in a coma?
Is he the baby?
I don't know if I showed you this or not,
All right.
but my idea for doing a like old school style comic book, Sunny strip comic. These are the first couple of panels that I did. I don't know if you can see that there. There you are.
Yeah. Lost connection for a second. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, it looks nice.
Thanks. So I think that 6 panels is what's going to fit on a page.
Yeah.
That's what I got down there. I was hoping to do 9, but 9 would have the panels be too small.
Right.
And then this morning I was just doodling. Little Jack.
Yeah.
Shooting out some vines. All right. So, I know we talked the other day, and we were talking about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So I figured today we would draw Moon Knight.
Heck yeah, dude.
Sound good?
Sounds good. I got my Moon Knight hat on too.
Yeah. Nice. Just coincidence, because you didn't know this was going to happen.
No. Not too much of a coincidence, because I wear this hat almost every day. It's bound to happen, I suppose.
All right, so let's talk about Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I know that Moon Knight is one of your favorite characters.
Yeah. He's currently probably my favorite Marvel character. He's always been in like the top 3, top 5 or so, but I just kind of, I don't know, fell out of interest with some of the other stories that got a little crazy with the kind of stories they were telling. I was like, I just don't find myself that interested in Iron Man anymore. After, I think Tony Stark died for a little while, and maybe he's back now. I don't know. And then Deadpool also kind of like, I really don't know what's going on with him. They gave him like 3 or 4 different series, and I didn't know which one I was supposed to be following, and I decided not to follow any of them. So, but no, Moon Knight, he's probably on his like 8th or 9th volume of having an ongoing series, but his stories are all pretty much, this is the only story of Moon Knight kind of going forward. So like, yeah, I can follow that pretty easy. He's got a real interesting origin, a real interesting persona, set of abilities, and this is an all-around interesting character, I thought.
So I know you've been collecting him for like a long time, and you were a fan of his since you were a little chitlin. But like, what started that infatuation?
I don't know what my first Moon Knight comic like by himself was, and I started buying like that. I think my first introduction to Moon Knight though was when he would show up in Amazing Spider-Man. I instantly like loved the way he looked, that white costume, because it's so different from literally everything else that you could get from a superhero at that point. It was always being like, you have to wear black. It's black on black. Like Batman is just, as dark as you could get. But here was this guy who wore a white hood, white garments, and I think he had like silver daggers or moon daggers or whatever, moon darts, and yeah, I thought that was like really bold of him. Like, you're the easiest target in the world. You cannot hide wearing like a big white flowy cape. But like I really liked that the way that I think Mark Bagley drew his hood was just that like a Hershey's Kiss kind of a thing, where it's just like that triangle,
Yeah.
but with like two glowing eyes in there. And I just love the way that looked, because no matter where he was, he always had shadow cast on his face. He was always mysterious.
Yeah.
I never cared too much for whenever an artist would draw his face or his mask like visible. I always like the idea that it's like a black mask and everything else is white, because it always kept that sense of mysteriousness, or that ominous look about him. Like there's just
You're back.
all right. Anyway, yeah, really cool costume design. And I want to say probably the first story I remember being read, not reading myself, but being read, was Round Robin's Sidekick's Revenge, which is an interesting like place to get introduced to Moon Knight, because it has to deal with Moon Knight's background.
Yeah.
It has to do with like his past, or you know, like his lore quite a bit. And I didn't know anything about Moon Knight other than he looked cool. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, since that was your collection? I know that's one of your favorite story arcs of all time, and I think probably your enthusiasm in reading that story to me that made me, you know, a big fan of that story arc as well.
Yeah, so for me, like Round Robin's Sidekick's Revenge is everything comic books should be. It's superhero crossover, like extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Spider-Man teaming up with Punisher, teaming up with Moon Knight, teaming up with Darkhawk, who was a rookie character himself at the time.
Yeah.
Teaming up with the New Warriors, Nova and Night Thrasher. You've got the very first time that I can remember, anyways, that storyline where you've got the hero and his sidekick. The sidekick, he thinks he's dead or he loses, and then returns. Not just returns, but returns as a villain.
Right.
Because I mean, we saw that done with Hush, the Batman storyline.
Exactly.
We saw that done with Captain America and Bucky.
Winter Soldier. Yep.
The Winter Soldier storyline. But this was the first time that I can recall it happening.
Mm-hmm.
This was set the precedent, I guess, for those storylines, in my opinion.
Right. When did Hush happen? Do you remember that?
I want to say early 2000s.
Because that was definitely before Winter Soldier, right?
I'm not sure.
No,
I'm really not sure. It might have paralleled each other, but maybe it was before Winter Soldier. But yeah, like I still go back to that storyline because that gave me enthusiasm for comic books.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the idea of a team up of all these like different characters with different beliefs on how to be a hero. You had like Punisher, who's a Punisher, right? No mercy.
Right.
Cobra Kai never dies. And then you got, Spider-Man, who doesn't want to kill, he just wants to punch. Pulls his punches because he knows he's too strong.
Yeah.
You got Darkhawk, who's learning to become a hero and not really sure himself as a hero. But yeah, it's just a great comic book.
Yeah, that was a really interesting dynamic, and it was really well written. That there was no, I mean, you can make your argument about Punisher, but there was no right and wrong way to be a hero. It was all just perspectives. It was all just a point of view of like seasoned heroes and like brand new people, like people without powers and people with powers, and how you utilize all of your skills, in any given situation, to where no one felt like useless necessarily, and everyone felt like they had a good part to play in the story. Just as like a story, like how it was written, every character felt like they were done justice.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for me with drawing Moon Knight is I never know what pose to do. Like I think of an idea and I'm like, but is that the coolest Moon Knight pose I could do? You're probably not. I'll see
I run into that with like every character, but yeah, Moon Knight is hard because you always feel the need to incorporate some kind of elliptical shape in there because of the moon.
Right. For me, it's like I gotta do some kind of sweeping motion because the cape is so much of like his costume, of like it always somehow makes a moon shape no matter what he does. It always has this crescent shape to it.
Yeah.
It's always this like big sweeping motion, and I'm like, well, then it kind of has to make sense with his body pose that it's a big sweeping motion too. So it's easy for me to get stuck on that. He's one of my favorite characters to draw because he's, like I said, he's one of my favorites, and if not my favorite Marvel character, and then just a really cool costume design. But yeah, I get hung up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the origin of Moon Knight, I'll kind of dip into that real quick. I'll give you like a real brief overview for anyone who may not know that. Mark Spector is a mercenary who gets hired to do a job in Egypt, basically protecting an archaeologist while he's going through some tombs and stuff over there. And Mark Spector and a couple of other mercenaries with fewer morals than Mark Spector, they decide to like basically like kill people because they're bored over there. They're, terrible people, whatever. But like Mark Spector doesn't want to. He ends up trying to save a few of the people that Bushman is, one of his partners, is trying to kill. Bushman, I think he shoots him or stabs him. I don't remember how that goes anymore. Been a little while since I read #1. And Mark Spector gets away. He stumbles into the...
he's mortally wounded though, right?
He's mortally wounded. Yeah, he's dying already. Like he knows he's about to die. And he stumbles into the tomb of, or the temple of Khonshu, which is the god of the moon in Egypt mythology, the protector of nighttime travelers. And so Moon Knight falls at the feet of Khonshu, about to die. Actually he believes he does die, and he has this vision of Khonshu saving him, bringing him back to life. And Mark Spector wakes up again, only to realize that his wounds have been healed, and he believes that Khonshu is real and has chosen to spare his life. So he takes the garb, or the robe of the priest of Khonshu, which is kind of just there. I don't know where he finds it. I don't remember, but it's just kind of lying around, which is just a big white cape. And so he decides to kind of take on this mission of being the avatar of Khonshu, or being his priest. And that's kind of where Mark Spector becomes Moon Knight.
Does he have any powers?
He does have powers, or at least he believes he has powers. Some people aren't sure if he does. And that's the thing I find 100% the most hilarious thing in the world. Is that Moon Knight is looked upon by gods, wizards, robots, androids people who have died and come back to life, and they all think Moon Knight's crazy because he believes in a god they can't see. Like, I'm sorry, you Wolverine, you fought like on the side of Thor in other dimensions and killed deities there, but like, oh, Moon Knight's a little crazy. He thinks he gets more powerful with a full moon. So yeah, I think that's funny. But anyway, yeah. So he's supposed to get more powerful, like physically stronger and stuff whenever like the moon is full. He's first introduced in Werewolf by Night 32, 33, something like that. That's like a 2 or 3 part story that he's in there, so he might be in both of those issues. But as a he's not necessarily a werewolf hunter, but he is like a supernatural being fighter. They hire him to go kill like some, I don't know, some organization wants a Werewolf by Night dead, so they hire Moon Knight. He shows up. He's again, not necessarily a villain. He's kind of like Boba Fett. He's just there for the money. Not really any. Yeah, he's a mercenary. He's still a mercenary, even though he fights monsters. That's the only thing that's changed about what he does, his targets. So, but yeah, that's the long and short of Moon Knight.
So were those like his earlier adventures where he was just like a monster hunter?
Yeah, so I didn't know this, but he was actually in the Hulk quite a bit in his early publication.
Really?
Yeah. So he's in the Hulk, Defenders, Werewolf by Night, and what are the other ones? I bought the omnibus of his first appearances, and there's like maybe 5-10 issues of Hulk that he's in.
Wow.
Yeah, before he even gets, I think, his own ongoing series. But yeah, he's in Werewolf by Night for maybe like 3 issues or 4 issues, something like that. And then he's in The Incredible Hulk. He's in the Defenders quite a bit. There's like 2 other smaller series that I know he's in that I'm not remembering right now. And then he finally gets his own series. I guess he became popular enough to where they were like, yeah, we can probably justify a series of Moon Knight, and that's kind of where that went. But yeah. Yeah, his earlier adventures, he was kind of a supernatural, I guess, monster fighter, which I assume is why he appears in Hulk. They probably hire him to try to kill Hulk too. I haven't read those issues yet, but yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. So, who has been your favorite Moon Knight artist?
Moon Knight artist is probably Kevin Nolan, and as much as I do like what's his name, Sienkiewicz.
Yeah,
his style's just really weird, and it's hard for me to like really get into it. He does do like really artsy stuff, and he's like a very early version of what's his name, David Mack, where he's like, he does like a lot of like expressional stuff, and it's very artsy.
yeah.
But I don't know. I personally think I prefer Nolan. He had like a really nice style. He did a lot of Batman work, so that's probably where it came through best, was in Moon Knight when he worked for Marvel. So yeah, probably Nolan. Alex Maleev did an incredible job on the art of Moon Knight. He did like a 12-issue run with Bendis after their success on Daredevil.
Really?
Yeah. The story was not great. No, you will probably not find any Moon Knight fans that love the Bendis run. I'm part of a Moon Knight page on Facebook, and most of the jokes are like, how awful that series was. I didn't hate it, but like, you know, I get it. It's probably not for everybody. That's fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't interesting. I think the biggest sin of it was it wasn't interesting. It was kind of boring. But like, you know, Alex Maleev's an incredible artist. I love what he did on Daredevil, and of course, I love what he did with Moon Knight. He did like watercolor stuff, and it just looked great. And of course, David Finch did an amazing job. There's no getting around that. I really wish he had stuck with the series longer. That was probably one of the best, what's it called? Like story arcs that they did for Moon Knight. Because they bring Midnight back, his old sidekick.
So that's probably interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. His name Charlie Huston was the writer. Houston.
Okay. What about Stephen Platt? You didn't really care for his?
Stephen Platt did really good Moon Knight drawings, but everyone else looked like they blew up. I did like Stephen Platt's art, but like, yeah, I think the older I get, the more I appreciate certain fundamentals that are kind of lost in Stephen Platt's art. Like he's good, he's extremely detailed, but he's very extreme in everything he draws. Like the bulging muscles with like the veins and showing through, like the veins have muscles that also have veins in them, and it's a lot. It's a lot of muscle. It's a lot of bulgy. You know, like there's no way they could function as human beings, as mobile human beings, having that much muscle on them. But it looks cool. I'll give it that. But he would probably be like my fourth place favorite artist on Moon Knight. And that's kind of one of the reasons why, like, as much as I love David Finch's work, I always thought he drew Moon Knight like a little too muscular, like a little too big. It's just kind of like a preference of mine that Moon Knight be like a little bit more agile, like he look a little bit more like a guy who's well trained and fit, but not like a bodybuilder that spends all day taking steroids and lifting weights. I will say though that like if David Finch's Moon Knight like showed up in a dark alley, like there's not a single person who wouldn't be intimidated by that guy.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Yeah, and of course, Mark Bagley was never a Moon Knight artist, but he did a fantastic job on drawing Moon Knight. But he is one of those guys who can draw almost anybody. I don't think he does really well with like the bigger, bulkier characters like Juggernaut or anything like that. But he does really well on like the people, the more human characters.
I agree with that. Yeah, I would say that he's a step below Ron Lim when it comes to being able to draw everybody.
Right. Yeah.
what's your favorite Moon Knight storyline?
Storyline.
Like, which Moon Knight story could you sit down and read again?
I would say probably besides Sidekick's Revenge, because it's a Moon Knight story. It just has like everyone else in there having fun too.
Yeah.
Probably I don't know like the name of the arc. I want to say it's called The Bottom, but it's the one that David Finch drew and Charlie Huston wrote. It's just an interesting look at Moon Knight and his relationship with everyone else in his team, and probably because he fights Taskmaster in that one as well, and that's a really cool fight. And I think I think ultimately it's a combination of like an interesting story of like Moon Knight being broken, like his legs get shattered by, I don't remember who it is that like just destroys his, like he can't walk anymore. He ends up like kind of rededicating himself to Khonshu. He gets his legs back, and he's able to like fight Taskmaster, and he fights Midnight again. So like the story there is really interesting. It's a cool story, but it's a combination of good story and good art. So I would say probably that one is my favorite one. But I do enjoy most Moon Knight stories because I'm a sucker for Moon Knight.
So when it comes to Moon Knight, do you believe he's got powers or no?
I believe he does. There's no way for him to do the things he does. He doesn't have powers. That's one thing that I also think is like really interesting about him, is that they've never, and I hope they never do, and I hope like the show never like clearly defines, is he crazy or is he a superhero? Because that's something that's intriguing about like the character in the comics, is like everyone looks at him like he's crazy because he believes in Khonshu and he believes that he gets powers from a full moon, kind of the definition of a lunatic. But you know, does he? Probably. I think he does. He's had several occasions where he's like I said, like he's lost his legs, he's lost his ability to walk, he's been broken, and then he gets healed again. And there's no way for, you know, anyone else to do that unless you get powers from somewhere. So I do. I know he's crazy for sure. There's parts of him where he's just like insane, but he's just a man of faith, and his faith is a little different from everyone else's. Yeah, I like that tangent. Okay. So had you read any Moon Knight before Round Robin's Sidekick's Revenge, or no?
No. No, that was my first introduction to him, really. Like, I might have seen him around, but he wasn't like a character that I really gravitated towards.
Mm-hmm.
And then also didn't really know anything about him until that story.
Yeah.
and I thought he was pretty cool. He really was just like a Batman type character.
Mm-hmm.
Only he was wearing all white, and then I kind of wanted to know what his deal was.
There's some cool lines in that story by Finch and Huston where, like, it's the opening issue where he's what he's doing is he's chasing down some I don't know, they're rivaling gangs, I guess, in the city, and he's just thinking to himself as he like fights them, and there's this like car chase and gunfight going on, and he's just like jumping on cars and like flipping them over and stuff, and there's this explosion behind him. And actually, I don't think I talked to you about this, but like the Batman trailer that's out right now with Pattinson,
Yeah,
where he's walking away from that exploding car behind him,
yeah,
towards the penguin that's flipped upside down.
yeah.
That is a shot for shot remake of the first issue of Moon Knight that Finch and Huston did.
Is it really?
It's I'm looking at it and I'm like, am I crazy? But like, no, that's exactly what happens. Is like Moon Knight's walking away from this other car that's like exploded or whatever, and he's walking towards a bad guy, like, and it's not like a main bad guy or anything like that. He's just some gang dude who's scared of him, and he's thinking to himself as he's walking. He's like, people ask me why I wear the white. Like, why don't you wear black so they can't see you? You're not an easy target. But that's the reason I wear the white. I want them to see me coming, because when they see me coming, they're so scared they can't hit anything. And they show the guy like shooting at him while he's upside down. He's just like missing like crazy because his hands are shaking. And and it's just like, it's a really cool Moon Knight line. It's a cool idea, like, to justify why he wears the white, or at least why he doesn't alter the dress of the priest of Moon Knight.
Right.
Yeah, that's it's a cool story.
You have to check that one out. Do love me some Finch.
I've been watching his videos, and it's so great to see him like be able to like break down this stuff. And then like on Monday Night Draw, you hear him talk about like how he's just not used to teaching, so like he doesn't know how to teach. He's so what's the word, like self-conscious about like the lessons he puts up. He's like, is it okay? Did you guys does that work for you guys? Like, yeah, dude, you're really good. I just watching. It's really nice to see somebody tackle issues as they come up, like he does every Monday night on Monday Night Draw. But it's also really nice to see how somebody like thinks ahead, like, okay, well, just so I don't run into problems going forward, this is what I do, and this is how I approach issues that I know I'm going to have.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I don't know if you heard he released his Monday Night Draw art book or whatever. It's got all the sketches he's done over the past year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I went ahead and backed it on, I think it's Kickstarter. I've never backed anything on Kickstarter before, but I decided to give it a shot. Because it's David Finch. And I know for a fact he's got at least one Moon Knight drawing in there.
That alone is worth it.
That alone is worth it. I wasn't able to watch his live stream, Finch's live stream, for a while, and I was like, you know what? Homework's kind of light this week. I'll turn it on and keep it on while I'm doing my homework or whatever. And it was during that stream that he announced, like, hey, early bird special, we're launching the book right now. If you want to go over there and back it, it's only going to be like $25. And I was like, oh, okay. I could do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the TV show.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. And you know what? I had completely forgotten until you mentioned the other day that it was going to be the guys who did The Endless. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the show. A show based on something kind of supernatural.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's right up their alley.
Yeah. It seems, yeah, because if you watch the Endless, for anybody who hasn't seen that, it almost deals with like the same idea of, are these people crazy or is there actually something supernatural coming on?
Have you seen their movie? I think it's called Synchronicity or something like that.
No, Synchronicity. I have not seen that.
It has Anthony Mackie and I'm not sure who the other guy is. I can't remember his name. Like Dorian something, I think. And they're playing paramedics. And there's this new drug on the street that when you take it, it sends you to some other place. Not just in your mind, but physically.
Right.
And so I'm not sure which character, but like one of their daughters takes it and disappears. And so the guy goes and buys all these drugs so he can take all these doses trying to find his daughter.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where it takes you to like a different, not just a different place, but a different time maybe.
Okay, yeah.
So I think it deals a lot with like cosmic horror in that way.
Right.
But yeah, it sounds like an interesting premise. I'd like to check it out if I ever get the chance.
Have you seen the trailer for Nightmare Alley?
If not, does that look good?
It looks interesting. It's a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Bradley Cooper, right?
With Bradley Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was in that, and I knew it was Guillermo del Toro, but I don't know what it's about. What's it about?
So it's about a sideshow, like a carnival kind of a thing.
Okay.
And it's got like a bunch of these oddities or whatever there, but I don't know what it is beyond that. Like the trailer that I saw, I don't know if it was just like a teaser or what, but like I have no idea what else is going on. I just know that Bradley Cooper is some guy who's, I guess, maybe investigating something. I don't know if he's a reporter or a cop or what, but he looks like he's looking for somebody, and he's meeting all of these like weird people. Willem Dafoe's in it, so it's got to be good. And then
you had me at Willem Dafoe.
Right. Oh my God, this dude. Yeah, so that's really all I know about it, is that Bradley Cooper is looking for somebody, and his investigation or whatever leads him to this place with all these people. I think Ron Perlman might be in it. I think he's the strong man or something. But apparently it's a remake of an old movie of the same name, but I'd never heard of that one either.
Yeah, so what I know about it is that it's a noir film.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's actually like a horror film,
so
much as it's just like a mystery.
Yeah. It's Guillermo del Toro, though, so it's probably going to be horror somewhere.
There we go. Digged around for a brush.
Mhm. All right. Okay. Oh, I did watch episode 5 of Boba Fett.
What'd you think?
I thought it was good. I don't know. I'm happy they did it. I'm curious why they gave the Mandalorian an entire episode of calling him into the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode, and I haven't seen any of the other episodes, but from what I've heard, that's the strongest episode. But yeah, like I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, oh well, normally what you would do is you would have, your main character go off with your the character you're trying to introduce, and then kind of bring them in, and only give like the other character maybe like 10 minutes of what have they been up to.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of peculiar, but I'm not complaining about it.
No, like I said, it's like Mandalorian season 2.5.
Right.
Because the next episode is all like Mandalorian stuff as well.
Really.
Yep.
Man. Hmm. I saw RoboCop twice in the past week or so.
Twice.
Twice.
Twice many times.
This is so good. Obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
The original?
Was that?
The original?
The original? Yeah. 87.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I watched it because like there's some sort of comforting aspect to it in that nostalgia. I remember seeing it on like a Sunday afternoon on CBS whenever they would do their matinees or whatever back in the very early 90s. Or at least that local station would. And I remember watching it, and I remember I might be misremembering this. They didn't edit it, did they?
I think they did edit out like the bad words.
Did they? But not like the part where the dude gets mutated at the end.
No, they did not.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah. No, with the acid, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like toxic waste. But like every time I think of RoboCop, I think of that scene because that's the scene that like what that weirded me out like crazy when I was a kid. But yeah, like I've seen it, a few times since then. But they recently put it on Amazon for free, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it again. I remember having fun with that movie, and I didn't know that it was shot in Dallas.
I don't think I realized that either. That's cool.
Yeah, but hearing that and then hearing that they had to have like a sweat valve for Peter Welling in his suit. They had to drain the suit at the end of every day or every so many hours or whatever because it's Dallas in what looks like the summer, and that suit is all plastic and rubber.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way. There's no way you're not dehydrating in that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never realized that.
Interesting fact.
And I couldn't remember if I had heard that it was in Houston or Dallas where they shot it in, but I was watching it again. The second time I saw it, I guess this week, was with Amanda. She came into town yesterday, and she was watching it, and I told her that, and she was like, "Yeah, it is Dallas," because like outside of the boardroom, you can see like a pyramid shaped building, and apparently that's in Dallas. What's that?
Chuck Norris walks by.
Yeah, Chuck Norris was standing in the distance, obviously bigger than Dallas.
With his eyes of the Ranger.
We're upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where the Ranger's gonna be. Have you seen the new Walker show with Jared Padalecki?
I have not. Have you?
I have not. I was just wondering if it's any good.
Me too. I don't know. Guess I'll keep on wondering.
We'll never know.
The Walker fights vampires and ghosts. Be funny to did a crossover with like Jensen Ackles comes in as Dean Winchester.
Sam just slipped into an alternate dimension. He doesn't remember anything.
Okay.
But yeah, after we finished watching it, Amanda looked at me and she said, I think that's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah, we broke up, but
we
you know,
broke up. Yeah, that's the last time you saw her, right?
yeah, I just walked out. No, I thought that was really funny though. I do appreciate that she can be honest with me, but yeah, that hurt.
Not gonna lie, that hurt.
Not gonna lie, that hurt. That affected her. That affected her Valentine's Day gift. So we had talked a little bit about the possibility of them doing like round robin sidekicks revenge at some point in the future for the MCU. Who would you like to play like Night Thrasher? Like some of the characters they haven't cast yet.
Mm. Good question. Man, I'm not sure. Do you have anybody in mind?
I don't know. It's one of those stream of consciousness questions. So
You might be getting a little too old, but maybe
Morgan Freeman.
no. Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Military Riggs. No. Man, I can't think of his name. The actor from Creed.
Creed. Oh,
Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Michael B. Jordan.
The guy from Creed?
Yeah.
The bad guy from Black Panther?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. That's Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you not know his name?
I felt like Jordan was right, but I wasn't sure. Like saying Michael B. Jordan out loud,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like it's Michael Jordan, but not the real Michael Jordan. So we're gonna call him Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, he's not really A tier Michael Jordan. He's more of a B tier.
Exactly. So I didn't know if you were joking or if that's really his name.
It's really his name. Yeah, I think if he was a little younger, that would have been the right fit. He seems to play that character pretty well.
Yeah.
The Michael B. Jordan character. What about Nova?
That's a tough one.
He's supposed to be in college, right? About that age.
Yeah.
Richard Ryder.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I had heard. I guess I don't think I had heard it anywhere else, but it could have just been I forgot. But I heard that kid from Cobra Kai, Miguel, is going to be Blue Beetle.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. You know when that one's coming out? I hadn't heard anything about it.
I do not. I think they're just now casting. But that would be cool.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Did something look off to you this season about him? This past season, season 4, I guess.
Look off about him? I think his hair was long.
His hair was long, but like it threw off everything else about him for me. I don't know what it is. Like, did he gain weight? No, that's not it. It just, I don't know if it just changed the shape of his head, and he just looked completely different to me, and I didn't understand what was happening.
Well, I think it's two things. It's one, like, his hair was long, but also he's older now.
Yeah, he's getting older.
And so I think his face was a little fuller.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, just having long hair framed his face differently.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like younger actors who could play these characters, and that's like the only thing I see that has young actors in it.
Yeah. Same here. Like, I don't watch too many shows with younger people in it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of are like the CW shows I used to watch.
Yeah.
Like, the only person that comes to mind is Stephen Amell's cousin. What's his name? Robbie Amell.
Is that his cousin? All right. I thought he was brothers with him or something.
I think it's his cousin. They look like brothers. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the one I could think of that kind of looks a little bit like Richard Rider.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I really don't watch too much stuff that has
Yeah.
people.
No, I was thinking about that guy. What's his name? Well, I guess you might not know his name either. You asked me the same question the other day. Steve from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
I think he might make a pretty good like Darkhawk or something.
yeah, I can see that. Chris Powell.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name, right?
Yeah, that was his name. He was another one of my favorites for a long time. They keep trying to bring him back into like do stuff, but it doesn't seem to work.
I think they're trying to make him too much of a cosmic character.
Yeah. He does. He's most relatable, I think, whenever he is like more of a street level guy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to get back to with him. I think, like, if I was writing him, I would make him a superhero again,
Mm-hmm.
and just have crossovers with the other characters.
Right.
Kind of reintroduce him the way he was introduced to us, and that was a crossover event.
Mm-hmm. That was his first appearance, wasn't it? Like, or at least his origin story was told in that round robins.
Maybe I think it might have been.
Because I remember the panels of him like hiding from mobsters or whatever in that museum, and then he gets a stone to throw at him, and then he gets the suit. I feel like that was Bagley who drew it.
Yeah, but it could have just been a retelling of his origin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Wonder what his first appearance was.
I'm wondering if it was like a New Warriors or if it was like in a like a Punisher book, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
With mob boss and stuff. I think they did have him join the New Warriors, didn't they?
That sounds right. Yeah. I think he also joined the West Coast Avengers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did he?
Or something like that. Like he joined a group of heroes that like none of them could sell a book well. It was one of those. It was one of those deals.
Oh, you know what? He was with that group of young kids. They made a Hulu show about
The Runaways?
the Runaways.
Really?
Yeah, he was with the Runaways for a little bit.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's cool.
That's when they brought him back.
Yeah. Runaways. That was a good book for the time, I guess. I don't think I'd be interested in it anymore, but when I was at that age, yeah, that was a cool book.
That was Brian K. Vaughan who wrote that, right?
It was, yeah. That was back when I had no idea what a big deal he was.
I still don't know.
I haven't told me yet. Don't spoil it. Yeah, I didn't know he had written like Why the Last Man and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just thought like, oh yeah, he's a good writer. Hmm. That's a good looking Moon Knight.
Mix.
That's the exact shape of Hershey's Kiss that I was talking about. All that dark chocolate on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So you still like occasionally hear things about like what's going on in the storylines of Marvel and DC.
A little bit.
A little bit here and there. Do you ever find yourself like, if I was the writer, what I
Yeah.
would do is, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, given the opportunity, that like the right team of writers could still pull either or both Marvel and DC out of this downward spiral of really bad comic book sales?
I think so. I think so because people want to like the characters.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Marvel and DC don't want people to like the characters.
I knew where it was going, but it's still funny to hear it.
Before I finish, you know what I was going to say?
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, like I do hear like a lot of like doom and gloom for Marvel and DC as far as like the people reviewing their comics, like, yeah, they're dead, comics is dead, or DC is dead, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but they're not, and they never have to be. That's the thing. Like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, these are all like immortal characters, almost in spite of whatever they do with them right now. Everyone, at least for like the next 50 years, is going to know who they are. For better or worse, they'll know the symbols. Right. And so long as people know who they are, that's the ember you need. And like if it's recognizable to you, and then you hear, oh yeah, it's really good right now because he's fighting, or they're fighting some really cool monster, and it's a fun adventure. You're like, oh, okay, that's recognizable. It's easy for me to slip into it, and I can attach myself to that story. I think the right set of writers could have a blast retconning everything that's happening right now.
I agree.
So I don't know. Like I said, I hear a lot of like doomsayers, but I don't think it's really there. And I think so long as people want interesting stories, I don't think it'll ever be there.
Yeah, because these characters are iconic. I mean, like you said, they're not going anywhere. People want them to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with mainstream comic books is that indie comic books were becoming so popular that they kind of started to turn that way. Like they started to try and compete against Image Comics, because Image was an independent comic book company.
Yeah.
I mean, it had sales like a mainstream company because of the artist, but
the talent, yeah.
But it was at its heart just a independent comic book company, and they were doing gritty artwork, dark artwork, unrealistic. I mean, think about it. Like all those characters, all that first line that came out, they were all pretty dark, kind of.
Oh yeah, super dark, yeah.
And so I felt like Marvel, and specifically Marvel, was chasing after that.
Yeah.
And they started to try and emulate that with their stories, and they kind of lost themselves in the woods of trying to be just like them, trying to be, I don't know. And what Image was doing was trying to replicate the real world in some way, saying, this is a dark world we live in, we need dark heroes. And then Marvel's like, okay, let's do that too.
They were making an imitation of an imitation and not, going off of the base source. Yeah,
and they should have just stuck with their guns and said, this is what we do.
Right.
This is our strength, so we should have just stuck with it. And so now there's no Marvel Comics the way it used to be. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And now it seems like indie comics, like the real indie comics, the deep indie comics, they're trying to replicate what they had when they were younger, which is
Marvel. It's a circle of irony.
It really is. And so that's the problem that's still lingering with the big two, is that they're still trying to be like the real world. They're like, all these politics in there.
Yeah.
You don't need all that mess. You want an escape from the real world.
So why do you think that, let's ignore the obvious of because Jim Lee and and everyone else was there, but why do you think Image was so successful?
It really was about the art and the artist.
Yeah.
I think what they represented too was like this breakaway from the big two and going out and doing their own thing, and just the big boom they caused just because they were these big name artists. Like that's attractive.
Yeah.
These guys were sticking it to the man. But that's just what I think. I don't know.
Sure. Some point this week, I need to refill that cartridge in this pen. This is like that real fancy one you got me.
Okay.
But I used up all the ink in that cartridge. I'm like, I need to figure out how to put the ink in there at some point anyway. This is probably going to make a terrible sound. I'm going to mute myself real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, I'm done. Okay. Yeah. Right. So normally I'd be streaming from the school,
Yeah.
but they've closed all the study rooms right now. I don't know if it's because of COVID or what, but
Well, they're
like
probably
none
on
of
break
the
right now too, right?
what's that?
They're probably on break right now, anyways, right?
No, everything's open. I mean, it's supposed to be open. We're all doing stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I've been rewatching Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget how much I love that show.
Yeah. I never got into that show.
What's that?
I never got into that show.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I guess it's like the camera style or something, but like it always just kind of made me disinterested. I don't know what it was, but like I couldn't like it. I don't know. Like what? It's weird because like once I started watching the show, I liked parts of it. I thought it was funny, but like it was really hard for me to get into like the opening of the show, the I can't even describe what it is, but it's just like that like real dingy feel of it.
Yeah, I had a really grungy kind of feel.
Yeah, and like for some reason I couldn't get into it for that, I guess. It just felt too weird visually, and like the sound effects of like slamming doors between their commercial breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's just too weird for me. I don't know. It felt a little too odd. But I do remember liking a lot of the jokes on that show. Like if I stumbled onto it like while the episode was like halfway over, I could watch it. But for some reason, I had a hard time like watching it from beginning to end. I thought it was interesting though that they were okay with aging him up, like as the actor got older.
Yeah.
Eventually, he goes to college and stuff.
I don't remember how it ended. Like, I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
If I watched it all the way through.
Uh,
So I kind of started around season 4 because
yeah.
some of those episodes were familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like halfway through it, season 4. But yeah, I'm anxious to get to the end because I really don't remember how it all ended.
Yeah. I really don't remember where everybody ends up. I remember where Malcolm ends up, but I don't remember like his dad or his brothers or Lois. Because I don't know what season it was, but his dad quits his job to become an artist.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if you've seen that episode or not.
No, not yet.
And it's a good episode. Like it's an interesting message, I guess, for that episode, that moral. Because what's his name, Hal, the dad?
Yeah.
He quits his job because like he gets, I don't remember like what starts it, but like he gets inspired to like become an artist, or like he wants to write something or he wants to paint something, and so he decides he wants to paint. So he quits his job, and for like a month or something like that, every day he goes into the garage and he starts adding paint to this canvas that's the size of the wall. And it's just not working, and like he doesn't like the way it looks, and he's getting frustrated. And at the same time, Malcolm is like really stressing out over what he wants to declare as it for his major or something like that. Maybe it's not for college, but it's like he's stressing out over the future for some reason, because that's just Malcolm. And at the end of the episode, like, Lois finally snaps because she's tired of supporting the family by herself, and she yells at Hal, like, you work on that painting all day, every day, and it doesn't get any better. And so Hal's like, well, what do you want me to do, Lois? You want me to just slap some paint on it? Like this? And he just starts, like, throwing paint on it. And then she's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. He's like, yeah, it is. And, like, he starts throwing more paint on it, just, like, random places. He's like, maybe some red over here. It's perfect. And then they're like, oh my God, it is perfect. Hal, this is brilliant. I've never seen anything like it. But you never see the painting. It's just,
right.
It's all, like, against the camera. So, like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my God, this is brilliant. Where's the camera? I need to take a picture of it. So, like, he turns around to get the camera, and, like, the whole canvas just, like, folds over and falls on top of itself because there was so much paint on it. And so it just gets destroyed. It crumbles in on itself. And so at the end, Malcolm learns, like, it doesn't matter how much you stress over getting something perfect. It could just collapse under its own weight of that you're putting on it anyway. So, but yeah, I thought that was a really funny episode.
Sounds like it. One of the episodes I saw recently is when Francis is working at a ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and they go visit him, but he's become, like, very responsible, and they don't like that about him. The brothers,
Yeah.
Malcolm, they want their brother back, so they go buy a bunch of fireworks, and they tempt him to light it.
Mm-hmm.
So he lights it, and, like, one of the fireworks they bought was something called, like, the Komodo 3000. It was like landmine or something, just a big old round metallic object. And they're like, how do you know when it goes off? And then all of a sudden, because it's nighttime, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the shot's like in daytime. And there's, like, wind blowing at them. And then it turns back to night. And they're like, wow. Did they say when our vision's supposed to come back? And he's like, the box said 2 days. Worth it. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Just, like, the whole image just goes from night to daytime.
Yeah, it's a funny show. I just couldn't get into it. Peculiar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like The Simpsons, like,
Mm-hmm.
live action Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it feels like. Another episode that cracked me up was they go shopping because Lois needs to buy the boys clothes for the whole year, so they go to the mall. And at the same time, Hal needs to buy her Valentine's Day gift.
Mm-hmm.
And he decides he's gonna buy her a foot massager because she's pregnant and her feet are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy at the store, this customer goes and buys, like, the last one. So he chases down the guy and he's like, hey, I really need this gift. And the guy bragged about having, like, 2 at home already.
Yeah.
He's like, you already have 2. I really need this for my wife. And the guy's like, sorry, man, I bought this. Just go look around. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere else. And Hal's like, okay. And then he offers the guy, like, 3 times as much as it's worth. And
yeah,
the guy's like, no, man, like, this is mine. Sorry. So Hal grabs the bag from him and takes off running. And he's running through the mall and runs up the escalator backwards, and he's all winded and screaming in pain from trying to run up the thing. And he finally gets away, and he looks in the bag, and it's like scuba gear, like goggles, and it's like the wrong bag. He grabs.
Yeah.
Like later on, they cut back to him, and he's returning the gift to the guy, and the guy's like already talking to mall security, saying, "I'm not sure what you look like. You look like an average guy." And Hal walks up, and he's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. Under all the pressure of the situation," he like tosses the bag at him. He's like, "I grabbed the wrong bag," and he grabs the other bag. And he runs off again, running through the mall and up the escalator, going the wrong way, and fighting against it, screaming in pain. His thighs are burning. And he finally gets away. And he looks in the bag, and they're flippers. He grabbed the wrong bag again. Oh, God, this is good stuff. Good show. It's funny watching it like as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I could really relate to Malcolm, and now as an adult, I'm like, I can relate to Hal.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's a funny actor.
Yeah, he is. He's a good actor. He can do it all. It's funny to watch like Breaking Bad and stuff, and like he still has some of the same mannerisms that Hal does. Like, you know how like whenever Hal gets frustrated, he does this thing where he like crumples his hands and he like raises them to the side of his head.
Yeah,
he does that too as Walter White. It's just, and it's like they were like really emotional scenes, but like it's really funny to see that. He's still Hal.
And he's got that Homer Simpson scream.
Yeah. Another show I've been getting back into was Transformers from '84.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I bought like the whole series probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and I would watch them every now and then, but I never like saw the whole thing. So I'm going through it all again, or I guess for the first time, to be fair, watching it all. They're fun. They're fun adventures. A lot of stuff doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter. Like sometimes all of them can fly, but not always.
What's been your favorite so far?
I really like the Dinobots episodes. Those are pretty fun. I think it was the season finale of season 1. They introduced Devastator, and that's probably my favorite of all of them. Like as far as episodes, is you get to see all the Autobots fighting Devastator. It was a cool idea.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was like the Computron.
Computron?
Yeah.
Which one was that one?
He was he's kind of like Devastator, like an Autobot Devastator. He comes in later on, I think.
Oh, is it the aerial bots?
Not the aerial bots, no.
Okay.
It's a different one. I can't remember what the aerial bots one though was. I can't remember that character's name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's kind of like that, but he's a different one, and he talks very robotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always liked his character.
I never knew there was one actually called Computron.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Give this a shot. Oh, and I didn't know, but I guess IDW is losing their license for the Transformers comic book.
Oh really?
Yeah, for both Transformers and G.I. Joe, and Robert Kirkman is picking up at least Transformers. I don't know if he's picking up G.I. Joe as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see what he's going to do with Transformers. I didn't know the state of the Transformers comic books.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so like all of like the stuff that's happening with like Marvel and stuff, like
Yeah.
suddenly these characters are like either gay or bi or non-binary. That
Yeah.
apparently they're doing that with Transformers as well.
What?
So here's the thing. I remember watching the Transformers movie because if I'm not mistaken, that was the first appearance of RC.
Yeah.
So it always like I was always curious about it, but like not to the point where I was like I came to any conclusions about it. Like, why is RC the only female Autobot or robot?
Right.
Out of like an entire species, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I always thought like, well, yeah, it would make sense, I guess, if like whoever created the Autobots was like, well, like most species, really any planet you go to, there's going to be a male component and a female component to whatever species it is.
Right.
So yeah, whoever made Autobots and Decepticons was probably like, yeah, you need one of each. But it was always curious to me why there was only just like one. Why isn't there like more of them?
Right.
Well, in IDW, they address that by saying, "No, RC is trans." Like, okay, and that's like, okay, that's a little bit of a stretch, but fine. I didn't really care. Because that would explain why there's only one, right? Like,
right.
It to an extent, like, okay, yeah, I guess that would make sense why there's only one female. Like, it used to be a male and now it's not. All right, but then I started hearing like there are canonically, or like there's a list of gay Autobots.
What?
And I think Decepticons as well. And I'm like, okay, now that's puzzling. Because why do they have any sexuality at all? They're robots. That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, like, and I thought maybe like, a couple. There's like 3, 4. No, there's like 20. I was like, what? Do they have time to fight Decepticons? Yeah.
Wait,
So,
aren't they all Decepticons now?
so yeah. So I guess Prowl and Wheeljack and who was it? The Decepticon Cyclonus. were all made gay in those books. And he mentioned some other ones that I don't remember. I don't know all of the Autobots that are in there now, but like I was listening to that and I was like, that can't be true. Why? What would be like the point of developing romantic feelings at all when you're a robot? I always gathered like the idea of like why you would have Autobots forming like friendships, because the closer you are to your partners, the harder you fight to keep everybody alive in your team. That's friendship and cooperation. That's teamwork, and that keeps, and then you have your moral there, sure. But why would you develop feelings for anybody? Like that seems like a different idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just when I thought there was like one IP that was safe. I really did. I was very naive to think that, but I really did think that. I went into Transformers and I was like, well, they can't really do anything with Transformers. They're robots. The fool I was.
Just laughing at the obvious Transformer name of Tranny.
I mean, they are Transformers.
Not like that. Remove my unit.
I did remember the album that Lou Reed put out called Transformer, and it's about transsexuals. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess you're right. You win, Lou Reed.
Well, I don't think I'm going to finish this because I'm going to have to go here pretty soon, like in 10 minutes or so.
Okay. He's going to draw on his little Pac-Man here.
Pac-Man. My white paint out. How are you doing over there?
I'm almost done. A little out of practice rendering, but
Yeah.
good enough. I am getting to try out some new pens though.
Nice.
I got them. I got them from Jet Pens. I don't know because they're in a language that I don't know how to read, but it's a pilot pen. I think. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty sweet. It's got a good nib on it.
Nice.
Like a slight marker pen.
That's cool.
Yep. So yeah, I think I'm probably done. Man, it is 22. I think it's the first drawing I think I finished in 2022.
Nice.
All right, I think I'm done.
Nice. Yeah, I'm probably gonna stop here. Might work on it more later, but
Yeah,
for now, I am done.
looks good.
I'll back my camera up so you can see it in its entirety. Bless you.
Thank you. Nice.
Thanks.
That's good ink work.
Snip that back on. All right. Yep, this was a fun one.
Yeah, this is good. It was a nice break.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, if anybody watched up to this point, thank you for watching. Catch us next time. I'm not sure when that'll be. I'll see you when I see you. How about that?
Sounds good. Until that day.
Until that day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Want to say goodbye, Justin?
Yeah, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.